What is up, alchemists? And today, we're going to be taking a look at the n8n community, why it's way more underrated than people think. And if you've just been like building on n8n to at any capacity, then you probably found yourself like wondering why what you're building just isn't working, and you don't even know who to ask. You don't even know if you could post it online, but like how long will it take for it to actually get answered? Well, today we're going to be looking at the n8n community. That's probably the perfect place for you to actually make connections with builders just like you. Um, and if you actually get involved with the n8n community, you're not only sort of making connections with like really powerful individuals who are very capable. You're also positioning yourself as like a true specialist, a true automation specialist, which is probably the most important thing in this business. So let's begin. Um, So you've learned about it, and you've set up in it, and you've learned about how to think like an automation specialist, and you've created an automation from scratch, or you've just watched me do all of this, which is fine too, I guess. But like, ideally, you want to have been like putting your hands, in. You just want to be digging in. Um, Now it's time to unlock access to professionals like you, and yes, you are a professional. I believe that everything is all about identity. I feel like it's only when you think yourself to be something that is when you truly become it. So, as someone who's built a workflow before, you are now a professional. You are someone who is capable of building automations. So, that is who you are. And if you're a professional, then you should be associating with people like this who are in the professional, who are in the professional. So, the n8n community is your hub. It's a space for builders, creators, and problem solvers like you. And you get questions from other people that you can look at for insights. You get answers to questions that you can like learn more from and like understand like why things are made that way or why things make sense that way. You get free workflow templates, you get plugin ideas, you get feature requests, announcements. There's something called community nodes, which are specialized nodes that are built by community members and just shared to everyone, like useful nodes, very useful nodes that do really cool stuff. Feature requests are like super powerful because, like as I said before, n8n is an open source community, so everyone is constantly making the product better together, which is like super powerful. Totally different from these closed source products like Make and Zapier, right? You don't really have a say when it comes to like all those other ones, but here you do, which is something incredible. So yeah, you have announcements, like the recent announcement where they had like a series. I think it was Series A of funding or something. But yeah, they got like I think it was 50 million or something, which was really incredible for a product like n8n. And it means that now things are going to get really, really exciting. It also means that the world is kind of picking up. They kind of understanding just how big a deal automation is, especially with tools like n8n, where anyone can just get started as quickly as they possibly can and just get moving. So yeah, probably the most important thing is the fact that you can get direct support from n8n developers, right? You have access to these professionals, these people with years of experience, and you can ask them questions, and they genuinely want to answer your question because they are passionate about what they do. They're passionate about the product, and they genuinely just want to help you. Um, so let's actually just check it out. This is the n8n community. Um, I'm just gonna go through a few. So here on the front page, you're just gonna see a ton of pin posts, and you're gonna notice some stuff here. Like we're adding an MCP client to an MCP trigger nodes. This is a new addition, and you might remember what MCP is. It's a model context protocol. It's like a new thing that is basically helping agents communicate better with each other. It's not that new. I think I've been hearing about it since February, but it's only picking up speed now in April, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, you hear about things very early in these types of communities, which is so exciting when you think about it. But yeah, like your thoughts on community extensions for n8n, like they are now trying to have people build extensions on n8n all by themselves, like as a way of like sort of facilitating users to add more functionality to n8n, which is so powerful. And here you can answer questions and even earn from them, which is so like it's such an incredible thing. It's like they have methods for incentivizing engagement. Um, you don't get that from like most communities, but you get that here. So yeah, one of the most favorite places I think you should go to is the questions. And even if you don't have a question or you don't have like if you're not that experienced, you find people here who are answering, who are like going through problems, and they just have sort of um, they come across situations that you might come across in your own sort of builds, which is why it's very useful to like look at some of these and just understand what actually goes through the like what actually goes through someone's mind when they're trying to build, when they're trying to build scalable solutions and automated systems. So yeah, this was the announcements tab. Questions, you get tutorials as well. You also have the tutorials section in the um, documentation. There's a text tutorial and there's also like video tutorials. And here there's like video tutorials as well from like like a ton of creators, which is like super powerful. And it's just a huge community of people who are all building on this really cool site. And here it's another sort of I think it's a place where people can like say they can showcase everything they built on n8n, and then they get like recommendations and reviews. So that's just like incredible. But yeah, the community is a very powerful place, and there's a ton of resources as well. Like if you want resources, and again, answer and earn. There's you can set up your profile and everything. Just like go do that as we speak right now because the n8n community is very useful. Okay, so the n8n documentations are perfect for beginners and pros. As someone who has fallen in love with documentation, maybe a bit too much, I can say this for a fact. You get tons of information like node descriptions, API auth tips, error handling guides, advanced techniques. Let me explain what this is. So node descriptions is basically a description of what a node does. So understand nodes are just ways to integrate with services. Um, Node descriptions will tell you how to set up your nodes, how to set up a credential, and then how sort of every option works in the node. So like um, as you might have seen when we were building our first workflow in the previous um, chapter, there were a bunch of options in the Google Sheets sort of trigger where we could have been polling maybe not every minute but every hour, or we could have been selecting a different sheet, and so on and so forth. All of these different options are accounted for and they are well documented, and they have tons of information on like how to actually start thinking about these things and start implementing these ideas in your own builds. API auth tips. This is very useful for setting up credentials. Again, nodes are just ways of integrating with services and APIs, and integration is everything. So if you're setting up sort of, there's like all different types of setups. There's header auth, there's query auth, there's predefined credentials that are actually like inbuilt that n8n understands all by itself. Um, you have to understand all of these, and the best way to do it is just look at the docs. Um, you'll probably find information on the on the documentation for whatever API that you want to use, but also on on n8n as well. Like, and then you have to like connect the dots from there. But yeah, we'll go through this at some other time. Error handling guides, very useful since there's like a ton of errors that you could go through, like type errors, when you're trying to reference a node that you're not referencing. So it's like data mapping errors, data linking errors, and of course you want to see the advanced techniques. Let me show you the documentation. Actually, you can come here and just go and check out the documentation from this page. It's going to open. It's super bright white. Ugh, that's just going to be annoying for the eyes, but it's totally fine here. Let's look at the sidebar. Sidebar has a ton of information on how to get started, and again, as I said, it's like perfect for beginners and professionals. So these are the courses I spoke to you about, the video courses, the text courses. Just you could go through that if you want to. Um, yeah, this is information about how to use the app, managing credentials, and again, this is very extensive. There's like flow logic here, flow concepts, flow logic data. This is very important to understand as well, like data structure. We're going to go through this at a later stage, but you could like read about it over here. There's also information about n8n Cloud, which is the subscription-based platform built on n8n, and yeah, enterprise features, so on and so forth. Like very extensive information, a lot to go through, but it's totally worth it. So here are your pro tips from me. So number one, search before building. The reason why I told you to be part of the community is because I understand just how powerful it is. Like I understand there are a lot of people in there who are constantly posting, right, on a daily basis, and those people have probably had the same sort of experience that you have. So if you're trying to build something but you don't know how to start, just search it up in the community. You don't even have to go to YouTube because they have YouTube links in the community. You know, you could look through some of those tutorials, you could look through some of those posts and reverse engineer how they actually thought about things, which is so powerful. Another pro tip is to document as you go. So what you want to do is you want to use the sticky note. Just like put it up there with the title, and then just have maybe like simple bullet points that explain what's going on in your note, like note by note. If you're doing it through like one sticky note, or you could have multiple sticky notes. I like to have it like note by note. So for every section, I like to have a sticky note for every section, and that sticky note will have bullet points on every note in that section. So if it's a complex workflow that has multiple sections, then I'll have multiple sticky notes, all colored differently. And that's just something that I do, and I feel like you should do too, because it simplifies everything into ways that you'll understand better. So ask clear, specific questions in the forum. And again, if you searched and you couldn't find it because somehow you're building something that's never been seen before, um, you want to ask a question, and you also want to probably give people access to whatever you're building to an extent. And you can do this. You can like share your workflow um, as some kind of template like thing, allowing other people to download it and to check it out and then to help you build it out. Um, when you're asking clear, specific questions, tell them what node you're having a problem with or what concept you're having a problem with. And just like because like again, there are community professionals who actually sort of who actually like, it's their job to help people in the community. So you want to ask clear, specific questions just to make it easier for them and to also make it easier for yourself. And again, n8n is very active on X and GitHub and Discord, so you might want to join them there. I am only following n8n on X, and the only reason I followed n8n on X is because there was one day where I posted a screenshot of a workflow that I was working on, and I was flexing, like I was feeling myself. I was like, yeah, this is so cool. And I then ended up liking, and I think they even commented, which is so cool. And like just because of that, I ended up following them. I ended up discovering the community, and now here we are. So that was it for this one. Thank you for watching. And again, as a last moment, I'm going to say that you need to start exploring. You need to start asking questions. You need to start sharing whatever you're building, and you need to start winning, and not only winning but winning together with other people. So the game we're playing is one that rewards connections and collaborations. Sometimes it's not always what you know, it's who you know. So you empower yourself by empowering others, to take the next step, and I am empowering you to take the next step, which is to watch the next video. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.